So, what is a seizure dog? Well, according to this, it is a dog that reacts to a seizure. It's funny they got to put a pit bull up here, or bully breed. So it says that they are an alarm system, helpers, protectors, and service providers. The only accurate part of that, in my opinion, is they're an alarm system, and that is all. They are only reacting to something in some way, which may or may not be a seizure. In fact, most training videos show people doing fake seizures. So that's what a seizure dog is, according to this. You can look at it more if you want, but this is reactive only. It's not proactive. And being proactive is much more effective than being reactive because you can prevent damage. Because when you have a seizure, your head can hit stuff, you can fall down, you can knock things down, and you can get really injured, especially if you're like on stairs and other places. And dogs have no awareness of those type of things. So is there something else that dogs could do to help us with these seizures? I think so. I think they can GTFO. To understand what GTFO means, check the description. First off, let's look at noise anxiety. Anxiety and noise can cause seizures. What do dogs do? They make noise all the time. They're constantly barking. So here's a little article about noise and how it causes stress and anxiety. And anxiety and stress are triggers for people with seizures. So think about it. People that live in apartments listening to their neighbors bark all day, people that go to relax at a motel, and the motel people leave their dog in their room so they can go out and have fun. Happens all the time. It's one of the biggest complaints in our society is barking dogs. So here's one way that dogs can help us with our seizures is to shut the F up and GTFO. Okay, what about allergies? Allergies can cause seizures. In some cases, seasonal allergies can increase a person's risk of having a seizure. So there's a lot of information and studies about this. But basically, any type of irritant that goes into your mucous membrane, into your ears, your lungs, your nose, your private parts, dead proteins off of animals, the little skin particles that they're constantly throwing around, constantly chewing on their own scabs, urine particles, when those get into your body, they can trigger a seizure. And dogs bring all types of allergens into our environment all the time, not just from their own bodies, but they bring in ticks and fleas. Like if you ever take your dog on a little hike or out into the park, the flies are constantly flying all around your dog, and then they get onto you. So yeah, here's another way dogs can help with seizures. Get out of here. Okay, what about hypoxia? Hypoxia is basically you don't have enough oxygen or too much CO2. It affects your nervous system and can send nerve signals and messages through your body so you can breathe and move. So when that is interrupted, that can trigger a seizure. There's plenty of information about this. I'll put it in the description. But let's go back to our little seizure dog here. Now you notice that his mouth is closed, right? But typically the dog's mouth is gaping open and it's breathing, 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 breathing hard, wagging his tail, jumping around, looking for treats. What is it doing? A dog cannot cool with its skin. So it puts heat into your environment, CO2 gas into your environment through its mouth. So it's pumping your environment full of CO2. Whether you're in an open environment or inside of a tiny apartment, I understand that the CO2 levels are not going to be a definitive cause of seizures every time. But at the end of the day, it is making your body work a little bit harder to deal with hypoxia. So again, take this thing out of your environment that is sucking away your oxygen and pumping your environment full of CO2 and heat. So speaking of heat, there's another one. Seizures. Excessive heat in your environment can cause seizures. All of these little videos where the person goes into like Walmart and does a fake little seizure, then they lay on the dog or the dog jumps on top of them or runs all over the top of them, you're just heating that person up. Many times they will say if you're having an epileptic seizure or other type of seizure, part of the thing is to make sure your body does not overheat. Seizures increase during the summer. What are people out doing in the summer? chasing around their lost dog, running away from dogs, looking for dogs, attacks that happen from dogs. What do you think happens to a person's body heat when they're dealing with the stress of a dog? All these stories of attacks, people's dogs getting loose, their heat is going up. Just like people that work in the shelters and people that work in the rescues and all that. Those places have to be constantly temperature controlled with air conditioning and heat, and they have to spray the floors with water all the time. So heat is brought into our environment not just by the dog's body, but by all of the stuff we have to go through to deal with the stress that they bring into our life. So if you want to be a good seizure dog, get away from me. Get your CO2 and heat away from me. I want to relax. One of the things that can suddenly trigger a seizure is low oxygen. And this all goes hand in hand. Excessive heat, low oxygen, too much CO2, that can make you be more hypersensitive to sounds and smells, which can also make your allergies be more sensitive. It's all like a big snowball rolling downhill, and having the presence of a dog affects every one of these things in a negative manner. It makes it worse. And one last one that I'll mention is brain injury. If you have an injury to your brain, like even a mild injury, like if you crashed your bike several times as a kid and didn't wear a helmet and then didn't ice your head afterwards or something, even a minor brain injury can lead to seizures. Well, what do dog owners do with their kids all the time? They allow the dog to smash the kid's head literally into walls and concrete walkways and other stuff. I did a couple review videos on how dog owners are constantly doing this with their children, hooking giant cane corsos to little toddlers and allowing the toddlers to be, head crammed into a tree or hard rocks and stuff. So a brain injury can lead to seizures in life, if not right after the brain injury. So again, if dogs want to be proactive and help us humans with seizures, just GTFO. Get the heck out of here. See you, dogs. Hope you guys can help us prevent seizures.